This is your WGBW Daily News Roundup for the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. The state Supreme Court is asking for responses to Planned Parenthood's lawsuit that seeks to recognize the constitutional right to abortion in Wisconsin. Planned Parenthood wants the court to take up a lawsuit by Sheboygan County's district attorney. The groups in the Planned Parenthood case have until a week from Friday to respond in writing. Governor Evers says Republican lawmakers made a big mistake by not answering his call for a special meeting of the Joint Finance Committee Tuesday. Evers wanted them to release $125 million to fight PFAS pollution in Wisconsin's drinking water.
The people in the state of Wisconsin that are suffering are sick and tired of this.
Republicans fault Evers for vetoing the PFAS bill they sent him this spring. About a dozen states are rolling back their child labor laws, and lawmakers in Wisconsin are trying to do the same. Labor leaders are pushing against it.
It's important for kids to get a good work ethic, but at the same time, these kids need to make sure that they are getting enough sleep, that they are able to participate in their school, and really making sure that that balance is there.
Stephanie Bloomingdale is president of the Wisconsin AFL-CIO. 4 people with disabilities are suing for easier voting in Wisconsin. The group wants the Wisconsin Elections Commission to let them vote electronically. Wisconsin doesn't allow it, but 13 other states do. Electronic absentee voting for Wisconsin residents is only for military or overseas voters. Wisconsin's embattled top elections administrator just won 2 national awards for keeping elections safe and accurate. Megan Wolf is the administrator of the Wisconsin Elections Commission. This week, she won the American Society for Public Administration's National Public Service Award. Back in March, the Election Verification Network gave Wolf its Public Service Award. The Marquette University Law School is releasing the results of its April poll of Wisconsin voters today. The last poll found President Biden and Donald Trump split the state evenly in a head-to-head race, with Trump pulling slightly ahead in a 5-way race. This will be the first Marquette poll on the U.S. Senate race since Republican Eric Hovde got in. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The De Pere Health Department reports probable cases of whooping cough or pertussis at De Pere High School. The health department sent a letter to families on Tuesday. They're advising those who show symptoms to stay home. Whooping cough is highly contagious and can be spread for up to 3 weeks after the coughing symptoms appear. Whooping cough starts with a runny nose and coughing and leads to violent coughing. The Green Bay Area Board of Education passed a motion to create a third consolidation scenario during a special board meeting this week. They feel the 2 consolidation plans currently in front of the board don't have enough community support. The third plan will continue to address the budget deficit through consolidations and closures while minimizing school movement and feeder pattern disruptions. Several public information and committee meetings are scheduled to provide feedback on Scenario C. The Green Bay Area School District Board of Education has a new member. The board voted 4-2 Monday to appoint Reginald Rick Crossan to the position vacated by Laura Layton and Warren, who resigned in February. Crossan was one of 15 people who applied for the position and one of 6 who interviewed. He will finish the remainder of Layton and Warren's term, which ends April 2025, after which the position will be filled through a spring election. Jesse Vang, the man who was caring for 3-year-old Elijah Vu when he was reported missing, pleaded not guilty to a child neglect charge Tuesday. Vang is due back in court on June 28th. Elijah was reported missing February 20th. No one's been charged in his disappearance, but Two Rivers Police Chief has said that the evidence does not support theories that the toddler was abducted or wandered off on his own. 86% of litter collected on the Great Lakes beaches is plastic. A report from the Alliance for the Great Lakes is based on 20 years of data collected from more than 14,000 Adopt-A-Beach cleanups on all 5 Great Lakes. The plastic pollution in the Great Lakes threatens human health and the environment as plastics break down into toxic microplastic particles that can enter the drinking water supply for 40 million people. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
The
The Brewers lose again at home. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Brewers lost to the Padres 6-3. The Crew got off to a bad start. Starting pitcher Wade Miley hit in the knee with a line drive by Manny Machado, top of the first inning on Bally Sports.
Ground ball off of Miley. Bowers picks it up. He'll tag out Machado. But now your concern is Wade Miley.
Yeah, that's the absolute last thing the Brewers need to see. Ball hit hard, got him right on the leg.
108 off the bat. Dave Yeager immediately out to check on Wade. Dealt with shoulder and groin issues in spring training and now gets a comebacker right off of his lower half. And Wade's going to stay in this ball game.
Miley stayed in the game through 3 innings. Manager Pat Murphy.
Showing his teammates that while he was only destined to probably pitch 4, how about that? You know what I mean? Stick in there after getting drilled. Most people... it's not fractured, which is good, but it's going to be good and sore.
It's the first series loss of the season for the Brewers. NBA, the Bucks getting ready for the Pacers on Sunday. Damian Lillard unable to practice yesterday after playing in Orlando.
His Achilles is growing. We just want to make sure we want him to be as close to 100% as possible if you can be that at this point.
That's Bucks head coach Doc Rivers. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. SNL cast member Heidi Gardner laughed so hard and broke character so blatantly during an SNL sketch that she says it caused her anxiety. The skit from last weekend involved Gardner as a talk show host with a studio audience behind her as she interviewed Kenan Thompson, who played an AI expert. During the interview, Ryan Gosling sat behind her dressed as Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. Kenan Thompson pointed this out to the host, and they had him move, only to replace him with Mikey Day, who played Butthead, and looked hilarious. When Thompson's character called attention to Butthead, Gardner turned to tell him to move as well and saw him for the first time and lost it. She literally could not contain herself the rest of the skit. Gardner said it was Day's exposed gums and teeth that made her lose control. Vulture.com says the show had kicked the idea around for 5 years before actually using it, which is crazy. It's one of the funniest things I've seen on Saturday Night Live in years. I recommend Googling immediately. Wouldn't it be fun if famous character actor Steve Buscemi was your principal? Buscemi, whose credits include The Big Lebowski, Fargo, and Reservoir Dogs, will join the cast of Wednesday, an offshoot of The Addams Family. The show is based on Wednesday Addams' character's teenage coming-of-age years. Production was interrupted on the Netflix show during the actors and writers' strikes, but will resume later this month in Ireland. Sesame Street writers have voted unanimously to strike if they don't get a new deal. The writers of PBS iconic children's shows say they will walk if a deal is not reached by this Friday. Negotiations for a new contract started back on February 13, and if the parties can't reach an agreement, a representative for the Writers Guild East said the workshop writers are prepared to hit the streets and picket on April 24th. It is unclear if they will hit the actual streets or just picket on Sesame Street, which probably wouldn't be very effective. Like father, like sons, James McCartney and Sean Ono Lennon are making music together. The sons of the famous Beatles collaborated on a song called Primrose Hill. The guys both have solo careers that have seen modest success. Paul McCartney recently shared the new song on his social media. Both men come from homes with famous fathers and loving but tone-deaf mothers. Pamela Anderson will join Liam Neeson in the reboot of Paramount's Naked Gun. Anderson might seem like a strange addition to this satirical comedy, but she has chops. She poked fun at herself in the 2017 Baywatch film and was also in Scary Movie 3. And Liam Neeson, of course, always has a wisecrack just before blowing a bad guy who threatened his family's brains out. The untitled project from Paramount is expected to be completed in time for a June 18th, 2025 release. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 7 to 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Scattered rain and thunderstorms, especially this morning. We may get another quarter inch or more of rain by the time it all winds down here later today. Our high 62, the wind south becoming west 15 to 25. Tonight, partly cloudy, 44. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with afternoon sprinkles and a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 51.
That's your WGBW Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WGBW.FM.